Yeah, I even had a couple of comments. Why do you keep sticking these film clips in here? I'm like, the point is you've already been told. I'm not telling
I'm impressed that you know that many movies.
Oh, girl.
I'm impressed that you know that many movies that can fit in there. I'm not a big movie person, so I could never add those clips in, but you always, and they're perfect. It's perfect.
It just comes to my, when I'm watching it, the way I work is I'm not doing it, God's doing it. I didn't know that before,
right.
But I do now, where I'll just sit there and look at it. Okay. And so then I'll turn it on and I'm listening. I'm like, oh, stop, cut this Doctor Who right here. Listen. Cut, stop, Mr. Right here. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's just getting pulled out of my head. And
yeah,
one of them was that Secondhand Lions, and I hadn't seen that movie in years, and it was like, Robert Duvall's speech, Secondhand Lions right here. And I have a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah,
the part that I makes me sad is when I first started making them, I started putting in music at the beginning, but that's what would get the copyright claims.
Oh, the music, not the movies?
Not the movies. Just the copyright claims were music. So then it was, it's just not worth it, because I didn't want to get into that habit of always having a copyright claim, to do. I didn't really care. I just threw it out there anyway, because I don't care. But if part of it was, if I put it up on Rumble will push it out to other places for me. And it's the other places it's pushing them out to that would stop because of the copyright claim. So I just done some other music, but it really disappointed me, because, I want to do a whole video on music. And have you ever listened to Jethro Tull? Have you ever listened to this song of Jethro Tull's? He's telling the story right here. Look at this one. Have you sat down and listened to Land Lies Down on Broadway, by Genesis? That's the story, right here. And he even says it. And
can I read the lyrics?
Yeah, he says it. And the God of us all is in our hearts. Jethro Tull says that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I notice it a lot, and not so much the modern songs, but the ones from like the 80s. I hear it.
Yeah.
The phrase throughout.
That's the generation that came out of the love generation. Okay. That generation is the one. And then the one we're seeing now is poor darlings. You're the one who has to look at the devil and say, no, you're the one.
You're not my father.
Yeah, you're not my father. You know how Jesus goes and is tempted by the devil 3 times? It's Matthew. And he denies him 3 times, right? That's what humanity is going through with this generation,
Right.
And, just keep, come on, girls, come on, boys, you can do it. Tell him no. Take that mask off, And even that, if you notice, they keep pushing it and they push it. And then it's like, okay, vaccine passports. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rita, tell me then, just so I understand, where is the line between give unto Caesar?
What is okay? The line in the sand of good, because it is true. You have to make a decision. You give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Okay. So if your child can't go to school without being vaccinated, Okay, that's fine. Here, we're all vaccinated. God's the vaccine, God's right. The virus, I'm not worried about. But what they've manufactured here is something totally different. What they've done is taken a virus that is just a flu virus, okay, that they already knew hydrochloroquine and Invectamin stopped it in its tracks, no problem. Okay, so they weren't worried about getting sick. Okay. And here we can go let this loose. All right, we'll gaslight them. All right, into doing what we want, because they're not doing what we want. All right, and you know the old saying, the enemy of my friend, the friend of my enemy is my friend, right? So people get in bed with each other and have been in bed with each other. And so this gets let loose. It wasn't, and if you look at the responses and everything, you can see that this was a false flag perpetuated upon the world. Okay, in order for China to be on top and in order for the Democrats to be on top. Because the Democrats believe, and everybody in America believes, that if the economy is shit, that president gets voted out. That's the pattern. Okay, so if the economy's shit, the president will get voted out. So by letting loose this virus, the economy was supposed to go to shit. Okay, which it did. But the response from the people, from the president, from everybody was, we can defeat this. This isn't a problem. We're going to, you know, find a solution. It's going to be fine. While the other side is screaming, don't blame them. You know, you're a xenophobe, deliberately twisting in order to try, don't look over there. Don't look that way. Okay. Oh no, I'm looking over there. I see what they're doing. Now I know what's going on. You know, and it's cracking me up. I said, if you believe your CIA does false flags on other people, what makes you think they're not doing them to you? One for all and all for one. You've been gaslighted. You've been being gaslighted for a very long time. You know, take a look at it. Who the hell do you really think killed John Kennedy? Okay? Get for real. If the FBI has been in bed with the mafia since the 1930s, who do you think is doing this? If the CIA brags on their website on how they overthrew a democratically elected government and put in the Shah, the front page of their website, they're mighty proud of that. Do you think they won't do that to you? What makes you think they do it to everybody else but not you? Because they're your government? Welcome to hell. Trudeau is just classic. You know, in Canada, they've known about the children and of the indigenous people being, you know, mass murdered and for decades. They've been trying to do stuff for it, you know, to make up for it. And by acknowledging it and stuff like that for decades. Oh, and suddenly you want to go out there and do your photo op and say how horrible it all is. You know, when the real horror show is what you're doing, sir. You're the horror show. And you're trying to take us back in time.
Pretty boy.
And force us to look at the, you found, yeah, you already knew about this site. You didn't just find it. you swept it under the rug. Now you pull it out. So you can get people to think about that instead of the liberties that you're taking away from them.
Yeah.
You know, and I got news for you. They see it. You know, you think this is going to go on forever? You're wrong. You think that we're all going, this was their plan. And it's the people who've been given this knowledge and have denied the first principle. Either it was never shown the first principle, didn't know the first principle, or denied the first principle. They were all over the place. Bilderberger Group, you know, the Grove, and then they made these objective world organizations, because when you go to the Bohemian Grove or you go to the Bilderberger Group and they're having their parties and stuff, you're supposed to leave the outside world outside. You don't bring it in here. Okay, and they have their parties and their sex orgies, and because they know they're creating when they do that, right? And they're having a good time. And if you look, there were pictures taken in the early 20th century, and their dinner tables are set out for everybody, like at the Bohemian Grove, to have dinner. It's a 3-day event, right? They go in, and then the dinner tables were set in a spiral. It spirals out. And then they would do a little play on King Arthur, you know, drinking the Holy Grail. And then they would leave. And what they end up doing is making these outside groups, the Council of Foreign Relations, right? We got all kinds of groups that they've made. And now they're trying to use those laws to mold the world into their image, which is
so that's
flawed.
That's
flawed.
objective living, right?
No, that's what I mean. It's flawed.
Yeah.
So
because you see that a lot.
Well, what you're seeing now is it all falling down because they got that
Right.
close. Okay, they got that close, and now here come the ones who think our generation, the love generation, and their children and their children's children, you know what I mean? And they've been taught, you don't hate, you know, it's the person's mind. It's not what they look like. Be kind, you know, be generous, do your best. These are the things they've been taught. And then you have another generation who's just been spoiled rotten. You know, they were not taught, despite having a lot, how to appreciate it. You know, they just always had it. So that's where that entitlement comes from, because they've always had it. So until it's taken away from you, you don't realize what you have, right? Most people know that. They're the majority know that. It's the few. And they're loud. And they get into these positions of power because that's what their thoughts are about, controlling other people and having the power. And, you know, and then they know these laws, so they imagine themselves sitting in their representative seat or whatever. And you know what I mean? Now you're in office. Now you're really getting gaslighted yourself, you know, and you think you can do these things and get away with it because you have, you know, but you won't anymore.
There's always that other side of judgment.
Yeah, exactly. You got, and people, well, why did they get away with it for so long? I was like, you're not in charge of this story. It's not for you to tell. Okay? It's for you to know who's doing it, and he'll protect you from it. Okay? But the show must go on.
Yeah.
Humanity
And when stuff like this happens, when stuff like this happens, then people, and I mean, I think for me as well, way back when, it's like, there's got to be more to life than this.
Me too.
And that's when all of this stuff is coming down, at some point, people are going to think like, there's got to be more than this. And that's kind of the trigger for the, to move forward.
Yeah, and to the younger generation that follows this LOA stuff, to them, I keep saying, you can't sing John Lennon's Imagine generation after generation with feeling and not expect authority to stand. Okay, what's authority? All the assholes have been smelling their farts. It's that simple. Okay, yeah, the guy who thinks he rules you.
Yeah.
No. That's part of that. You give unto Caesar what is Caesar. So if it's going to make your life easier, your husband wants you to take the vaccine. Okay. The reality is you don't give a shit one way or another. It's all gone. It's going to make him feel better, make him feel happy, then great. Okay. But then there comes the authority. You must prove to us you've been vaccinated. Show me your passport. No. And then the others, well, if you've been vaccinated, why don't you care? Because what? Go ahead and show them. No, it's none of their business. It's that simple. Doesn't matter if I've been vaccinated or not. It's none of your business. Now, do you want to sell me dinner or not? I assume not, because you're demanding a passport. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get a bottle of wine and some sandwiches and sit in the park. I'm still going to eat. I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm not going to have a mask on. And you won't get my dollars that I was going to willingly give you, because I love the way you cook and I love your restaurant. But you don't get to tell me I can't come eat here unless I show you my papers. Now, same thing with football, okay? Any sport, any concert. Who do you think you are? I don't want to hear your music so bad,
And people here, it's for their jobs.
But that's what I'm saying.
You have to be vaccinated to be able to work here.
Yeah, well, here's news flash for you. If we all walk away, but it's going to happen to you. What's going to happen to you? You don't have a business anymore. You have no employees. They refuse to work for you because you demand another business. And it's none of your business.
Well, so much for our ending. Yeah, thank you so much. We'll have to do it again.
Yes, we'll do it again. That was fun. Thank you so much, Gail.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Later, Gator.
I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.
After all this time, did you think I'd let it hurt?